Have you ever felt like your anger controls you instead of the other way around? Like you're trapped in a cycle of reactions you regret? You're not alone. Today, we'll explore powerful cognitive behavioral therapy techniques that can transform how you respond to life's frustrations. This isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them, recognizing your triggers, and developing healthier responses that serve you better. Cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most effective approaches for managing anger. But how exactly does it work? CBT helps you identify the specific thoughts, situations, or stressors that trigger your anger. Once identified, it provides strategies to respond in healthier, more adaptive ways. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate anger entirely. It's a natural emotion. Instead, CBT helps you retrain your brain to interpret situations differently, giving you back control and confidence in difficult moments. The first step in managing your anger is identifying what triggers it. Triggers can be thoughts, situations, people, comments, anything that makes it difficult for you to respond calmly and effectively. Take a moment to consider, what situations reliably spark your anger? Is it being cut off in traffic, criticism from others, political discussions, a coworker's behavior? For each trigger you identify, note how you typically respond. Do you yell, argue, become physically tense? This awareness is your foundation for change. Every reaction has consequences. When we respond to triggers with uncontrolled anger, we often create ripple effects that harm ourselves and others. Consider that moment of road rage. In the heat of the moment, it might feel justified, but it could escalate to a dangerous situation, damage relationships with passengers, or even result in legal consequences. Understanding these outcomes helps motivate us to choose different responses next time. Once you know your triggers and their consequences, you can develop healthier replacement behaviors. For example, instead of confronting someone who cuts you off in traffic, you might practice letting it go and focusing on driving safely. Instead of arguing with a politically opinionated coworker, you might politely change the subject or excuse yourself from the conversation. These planned responses become your toolkit for difficult moments. Our thoughts fuel our emotions. By changing how we interpret situations, we can transform our emotional responses. When someone cuts you off in traffic, your first thought might be, "They're doing this deliberately to disrespect me." A more realistic alternative could be, "They might be distracted or having an emergency. Their behavior isn't about me at all." This isn't about being unrealistically positive. It's about considering more likely explanations that don't automatically trigger anger. While some triggers can't be avoided, many can, and there's wisdom in recognizing which battles to fight. If certain people or places consistently trigger your anger, consider whether you can limit your exposure. Shop during less busy hours. Step away from heated political discussions. Choose different routes to avoid traffic hotspots. This isn't avoidance out of fear, it's strategic self-care. Many anger episodes stem from feeling unheard or misunderstood. Learning to communicate clearly can prevent this. I statements express your feelings without blaming others. Instead of saying, "You always ignore me," try, "I feel hurt when my input isn't acknowledged." This approach opens conversation rather than shutting it down with accusations. Perhaps the most powerful skill in anger management is learning to let things go. Letting go doesn't mean being a doormat. It means recognizing when a situation isn't worth your emotional energy. It's acknowledging your feelings without being controlled by them. Practice this daily. When faced with a trigger, pause, take a deep breath, and consciously choose to release the urge to react. Managing anger is a journey, not a destination. It takes practice, patience, and persistence. But with each small success, you build confidence in your ability to respond differently. Remember, the goal isn't to never feel anger, it's to respond to it in ways that align with your values and goals. With these CBT techniques, you're equipped to break free from old patterns and create healthier relationships with others and yourself. If you found these strategies helpful and want comprehensive support on your journey to better anger management, I encourage you to get the complete anger management workbook. Visit the link below the video to get your copy today. Your future self and those who care about you will thank you for taking this important step.